but that will be for you to enjoy watching us try to get these things dropped properly. Oh my gosh, check this out. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am super excited to start ripping into this Jeep. We have a lot of work to get done, but before we get going on the Jeep, I did want to say a huge thank you to all of you that have chosen to subscribe to this channel. We blew past 100 subs, which is awesome. So if you like this video, hit that subscribe button, that like button, and join us on our journey as we continue restoring and building back this old Jeep. But now let me give you a quick heads up for what we're going to knock out in this video. All right, as I mentioned in the last video, this thing is going to need some work. Kind of shifted my lens a little bit. Instead of doing things in phases, I'm going to try to tackle as much as we possibly can while this thing's apart. So first things first, we're gonna knock out the exhaust, take it all apart, and then the second thing we're gonna do is we're gonna pull the transfer case and the transmission gas tank. That way I can do some welding and I don't have to worry about exploding. And then we're gonna be changing out some seals. As you can see right there, and I think, yep, right here, this thing is leaking oil pretty bad. Up here, this transfer case is pretty gross. All right, let's get at this exhaust. It's safe to say swivel sockets and a lot of extensions are definitely needed for this project. I am barely on the bolt down here. Oh man. All right, finally got it out. That was a beast. Glad to get that one out. All right, if you check this out down here, this is one of those situations when you can only get like an 8th turn at a time without moving it, but hallelujah, finally got it off. While those are soaking in penetrating fluid, let's take a look here and see why it was leaking. You can see up here, leaking over there. Otherwise it looks pretty good. Looks like it was leaking right here. And then in the back, as you can see, there's a little hole right here for a bolt. There was no bolt in there. So I think probably a fairly large leak right there. Okay, got it off finally. There comes a point when it's just like, you know, it's not coming and you gotta cut it off with a side grinder. We'll have to double check on the mid pipe. I might need to buy a new one because as you can see, it kind of peeled off right there. I'm not sure if you guys caught it in the B-roll segment, but check that out. That is not good. I think buying a new header piece was the way to go. We're gonna be way better sealed up. So overall, not too bad ripping everything out here. Rust is a killer. Definitely makes taking stuff out so much harder. But with this knocked out of the way, let's go ahead and move on down to the gas tank. I want to pull the gas tank out, namely because we're going to be doing a ton of grinding, a ton of welding on this Jeep, and I don't want to explode or anything. It doesn't look like it'll be too bad. Looks like there's a skid plate here. It'll be good to check the condition of the gas tank, make sure there's no holes or anything. So let's go ahead and get at it. check this out. I just pulled this duct taped fill line right off the fill tube. No problem. That is gnarly. Look at all the mud, the dirt. I am so glad I am taking all this off to clean it. Look at that. Oh. Oh man. Whew, that was gnarly. This thing is coated in filth. These rubber pipes have seen better days. Definitely gonna need to order new ones of those. Otherwise though, that definitely went off without a big hitch. All right, I'm hanging out underneath the Jeep and check this out. Up here, you can see there are huge holes. When I bought this thing, I did notice they were pretty shot back here in the back. I think a lot of water and mud actually sit up in here, and I'm guessing that's why they get so rotted out. Water's just sitting in there, right? So we're actually gonna be cutting and replacing a lot of this inner structure. We're gonna test the bottom to make sure it's okay. But overall, not horrible. Now we have access to the entire underside of the Jeep so we can clean, paint, and restore what we need to do. Oh my gosh, check this out. What the heck is that? What is going on here? What? All right, you guys can go on this little journey with me. Where are all these ants coming from? Oh, even more ants. All right, that was pretty crazy. I didn't think I'd run into an ant mound in the gas tank cover. I probably would have freaked out if I was unscrewing that thing under there. If I had a bunch of ants falling all over me, I probably would have flipped out. That would have been seriously freaky. Well, the exhaust manifold is out and the gas tank's out, and we ran into a little ant farm. So with that, I'm gonna clean up and I'll see you in the morning. All right, guys, it's the next morning. Had a good night's sleep last night. Got everything kind of cleaned up in here for today's adventures. And we have a special surprise for today. Mr. Jake is joining us. The cavalry has arrived. Oh yeah. All right, Jake, how many transmissions have you dropped in your day?
Zero.
Zero, okay. I've done like half of one. My dad helped me, so I think with our combined experience, the transfer case and the transmission will be no problem, but that will be for you to enjoy watching us try to get these things dropped properly. But before we start wrenching on it, we do have a couple things we need to do. We need to finish draining the gas tank that we dropped yesterday. I want to get that thing empty so I can check out the inside, make sure it's not rusted, clean it off. As you know, there's a ton of mud and dirt. Hopefully all those ants are gone. And then after that, the show begins. All right, that was a great success, much better than I thought. Little bit spilled, but not bad. All right, we took care of the gas tank and got it all emptied out. With that, let's jump into the transfer case. All right, taking a look at this transfer case, it is super juicy, definitely leaking. I think the pan down here is leaking, and then it looks like that is leaking. I bought a full seal kit for this Dana 300 transfer case. So once it's out, we're probably gonna clean it up and then do an entire seal change on the transfer case. So I just pulled this loose and there is so much water. I don't know why. Clear liquid. That is like, wow. It's like molasses. Awesome. Draining transmission. Step one complete. All right, transfer case. It has a transfer case drop kit already installed. Looking pretty classy, looking pretty fly with those washers there. And then just to be sure, it looks like someone welded a strap. Yeah, we're gonna have to cut that off. Alrighty, look what I just pulled out of the transfer case. That is your speedo that should be in here to send the speed to the speedometer, but broke right off. That was probably the issue with the speedometer. That is our bolt right up there. Everything is so caked in mud and dirt and grime. Check this out. I mean, everything is just so caked. So it's gonna take a while to find all these bolts and get them all out, but let's get at it. It's like I'm prospecting. I can't see anything up here. I'm just scraping and scraping until a bolt reveals itself. It's like finding buried treasure. So we ended up needing to cut off the top of the shifter. It was broken anyway. I already had one on order, but definitely take off the shifter before you do this if you're ever in a similar situation. But otherwise, I mean, this is our transfer case. It's completely caked in mud and grease, but definitely not as bad as I was expecting. Special thanks to Rep Fitness for sponsoring. No, I'm joking. Nope, not a sponsor. But it did work out well, rolling it onto here and then kind of wrestling it down with the jack. We're gonna roll this thing off to the side and then get at the transmission. We are victorious.
Well, happy?
Yeah, not horrible, but look at that thing though, that's tiny. Little 4-speed transmission, but holy smokes, yeah, not too bad. Not too shabby. There's so much room for activities in here, all this room. So we're gonna be scraping, cleaning, pretty much like everywhere else on the Jeep. There's just like so much filth everywhere. So we're just gonna scrape it all out, clean it, paint it with Pour 15, make sure it's all sealed up, ready to rock. We have some pieces we're gonna be ripping out and welding in, tearing into, probably in the next video, welding up some of the bodies. So make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, and you'll get to watch that process. The transmission bell housing. So this houses the clutch that is in here, and then obviously it goes into the engine over there. So we have these little bolts all the way around. Luckily, we're kind of out of the grime a little bit. They don't look horrible. Check it out, we got all of our tasks done today. It feels amazing to knock out our first big video on the Jeep. Everything has like 9 inches of oil and grease on it, so definitely gonna need to clean this up in a future video. But I think before I jump into that stuff too much, I'm gonna go back to the body of the Jeep and start welding and repairing all of our holes. And if you made it this far, go ahead and comment down below. I wanna see it, I wanna thank you. I appreciate your support. That about wraps up this video. Huge thanks to Jake for coming over. I would have been stuck trying to do this all myself. Hit that like button if you found it entertaining, and if you enjoyed it, enjoy your week, and until next time, we'll see you in the next one.